Support WrestleTalk!
Roman Reigns is pulled, Brock Lesnar is randomly added to the Raw Championship match, and Brock Lesnar is your new WWE Champion. It's literally day one of 2022, and Brock wins a title he has absolutely zero involvement with. But goddammit, it was fun. Sorry, Big E. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is my review of WWE's Day 1 is H pay-per-view in about 10 minutes. The kickoff show saw Cesaro and Sheamus not just set the bar, they also feud with each other years after breaking up, teaming with Ricochet and Ridge Holland respectively. Various European countrymen and Ricochet. Why can't we all just get along and start a new League of Nations? Cesaro is so strong he threw Ridge Holland around like he was Ricochet, which Sheamus matched with his own strength by just throwing Ricochet around like he's Ricochet. But there was a little too much throwing when Cesaro flipped his own tag partner for Ricochet's boot to land right on Holland's face, apparently breaking his nose. Blood splattered on the canvas and he was immediately removed from the match. Definitely the right medical decision, but one that unfortunately distorted the pro wrestling psychology, booking the heel Sheamus to come back and win from a babyface disadvantage, effectively beating Cesaro and Ricochet single-handedly. It made Sheamus look awesome, but didn't do so much for Cesaro and Ricochet. Holland's injury was an accident and they did the right thing removing him, but an audible should have been called for Sheamus to at least cheat to win, slightly protecting the faces. And boy, I bet Ridge wished someone protected the faces. Speaking of calling an audible, the main card opened with the announcement that Roman Reigns had been pulled from the show with his tweet, "I yearn to perform tonight at WWE Day 1 to defend my Universal Championship." However, unfortunately, earlier today I tested positive for COVID-19. Due to the proper protocols, I am unable to compete as originally scheduled. I look forward to returning to action as soon as possible. Yearn? Who says yearn? It's a scary situation given Roman's medical history, his leukemia only going into remission in early 2019. Hopefully the vaccines and treatment for COVID that have been introduced over the last year will reduce the risk to him. From a far less serious wrestling booking perspective, it's a disaster. Roman was meant to face Brock Lesnar in Day 1's main event, the biggest storyline in the promotion right now, and a match that would have likely seen a huge WrestleMania angle take place. WWE had two options. Have Brock face another SmackDown star for an impromptu #1 contenders match like Drew McIntyre or Sami Zayn, or do what that girl you know on Facebook who's gotten super into crystals. Go full new year, new me. WWE went hard for the latter, announcing Lesnar, technically a free agent but also one who has had no involvement with the Raw title picture, not that that matters, will be added to the WWE Championship match, now making it a fatal five-way. It was reportedly a decision made hours before the show started, and one that possibly rips up the company's biggest plans for the whole year. Because what is more WWE than changing your whole main thing for 2022, literally on a pay-per-view you've titled Day 1? But I must admit, as haphazard as it is, it gave the show a genuine bolt of adrenaline. As well told as Roman versus Brock has been, we've seen it a lot. This was fresh, this was exciting, and it gave us a hell of a main event. But before then, we had to finish this episode of Saturday Night SmackDown, with Xavier Woods wrestling in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia to kick off the main card. So the New Day is losing then. The New Day and Usos have so much chemistry though, it's impossible for them to have a bad match, and they did a great job at making you buy the near falls by having about 3 straight minutes of them. But after a great match with all 4 men struggling to their feet, the Usos threw Woods out and hit a 3D of all things on Kofi Kingston to retain. Jimmy, get the tables! But only if Roman's done sitting at the head of it. And then came Drew McIntyre beating Madcap Moss in a 10-minute match that shouldn't have gone beyond 5. This match, that should have just been Drew squashing Moss, went a whole minute 20 seconds longer than the fatal 5-way main event for the WWE Championship. Drew was attacked by Happy Corbin and Moss backstage a few segments later, while the heels put a chair around his neck and hit it with some trussing. That's not very happy. Stunning to think this Happy Corbin thing is just a name. It looks like this feud must continue, but apparently not anytime soon. PW Insider has since reported this angle was to write McIntyre off TV because he's been dealing with neck issues over the last several weeks. His status is said to be up in the air until medical tests are done, and WWE is hedging their bets by writing him off now in case the issues turn out to be more serious. And that was where Saturday Night SmackDown finished. It exposes how much SmackDown is dominated by Roman Reigns, that the brand really doesn't have much for a pay-per-view when he's removed. The tag title match was very good, but the only other things it had to show for itself was Drew versus Madcap Moss and the throwaway kickoff tag. An hour into the show, or 2 hours if you watch the pre-show, we got our first Raw match with the Street Profits taking on RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team titles, with Migos at ringside. Sure. This was a fun face versus face match, with Riddle throwing Montez Ford up in the air for an RKO from Randy Orton, which looked fantastic and could be their tag team finisher. Migos celebrated with them all afterwards. This felt pretty house show. Edge did his Brood entrance for his match against The Miz next. Wow, that's so cool, I remember that from when I was a kid. Wait a second. He's trying to distract me from how little I care about this feud. While I feel Edge hasn't really gotten a proper good story since his autumn rivalry, his in-ring matches are consistently terrific, particularly how they're laid out. He's so good, I really got into this by the end despite being totally ambivalent about their feud. Maurice interfered, which summoned a wild Beth Phoenix on the ramp to chase her around the ring and not actually do any moves. Edge speared Miz for the win. Hopefully he'll now move on to one of those many wrestlers he listed as wanting to face, like Riddle, AJ Styles, Ricochet, and not the inevitable intergender husband and wife tag that will be stretched out until WrestleMania. Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch skipped the feeling out period and went straight for the intensity, playing off having already wrestled last month where Lynch cheated to retain. Despite not being good on the mic and occasionally botchy, Liv does really have something. Halfway into the match, both women had drawn the crowd in with Becky's star power and Morgan's natural empathy. Liv went for the oblivion, but Becky smartly reversed it into a man slam for the win. Yes, Lynch retains LOL, but I think Becky genuinely elevated Liv in this feud. Not everyone has to win the title to get over. Lynch beat her clean, and hopefully that means more than just another cheating finish. Before I get on to the crazy main event, I'd love it if you could give WrestleTalk a subscribe. If you like daily wrestling news videos like these, super kicking that subscribe button and enabling notifications to always on will mean the YouTube app always lets you know when a new video goes live. Kiss my butthole learning French! Keeping up with everything in wrestling is the real perfect New Year's resolution. And now it's time for our main event. Johnny Knoxville announced he's entering the Royal Rumble match. Yes, that is a genius move. And Brock Lesnar is a new WWE champion. Brock being randomly added to this fatal four-way didn't really jar in a story where people have just been randomly added. This compilation of match graphics, by the way, is also a graphical representation of WWE not having faith in Big E as a champion. So there wasn't this amazing story that Lesnar was just coming in and ruining. Quite the opposite. It was a story that had become less interesting every week. Lesnar entered and gave it a genuine bolt of excitement. And that's how the match itself played out. With only 10 minutes of the show left, Lesnar ain't paid by the hour, Brock, Bobby, Big E, Seth and KO played an awesome punk song of a match. It was big move after big move after big move. All killer, no filler. Not a single rest hold. Finishers and signature entry only. Suplexes, F5s, spears, barricade breaks and table spots. This was a brilliant match. KO and Seth worked great as a tag team together. Lesnar and Lashley had this big hoss eternal feud energy. And Big E was there too. And he nearly ultimately retained, but Brock reversed the big ending into an F5 to win, pinning the champion when there were 3 other guys he could have pinned. Brock really doesn't like the New Day. Run, Xavier Woods, run! But like I said before, I think this is for the best. 2022 didn't feel particularly exciting for WWE. Brock and Roman was plodding along, while Big E was unfortunately in a totally forgettable championship run. And according to Brian Alvarez, he was meant to retain on this show. But with Roman's removal, meaning the main match and presumed big angle couldn't happen, WWE called an audible to have Brock's win be the main talking point, potentially setting up a champion versus champion match as the WrestleMania main event, maybe even a title unification. In one panic booking decision, WWE has fixed both those issues. Brock as champion with Lashley as an interim challenger is a dream match a decade plus in the making. It sucks for Big E, but his reign, through no fault of his own, never really got started. What did you think of day one? Let me know in the comments down below. 54% of you have voted for literally the first day of 2022, Brock Lesnar is WWE champion, on our poll on a poll match on the community tab. SmackDown had a pretty lackluster showing without Roman, but their tag match and Raw's women's and men's championship matches were excellent, complete with a hugely newsworthy and exciting title change. Day one is H, and also day 1 is a high 4 out of 5. And in our predictions, mostly thanks to cards subject to change, Randy Andy Datson defeated Chopper Pete to secure the number 30 spot in our Royal Jamble at the end of the month. Which, fun fact, Pete messaged me saying, even more fuel for my babyface turn. Yeah, sure, Pete. A babyface turn. Good luck with that. Remember to subscribe, and here's Adam Blompier with the 10 biggest wrestling rumours of 2022.
Maybe Triple H will start his own promotion called Too Sweet Wrestling. Maybe Steve Austin to AEW confirmed. Maybe Vince finally gets his hands on all 3 of Cleopatra's eggs and can finally retire. Who can say? Well, hopefully us in this list, looking at some of the wilder predictions about the coming year currently doing the rounds. I'm Adam from WrestleTalk, and here are the 10 biggest rumours of 2022.